And in other news that we're tracking, hundreds took to streets as violent clashes broke out between protesters and security forces in the West African nation of Togo. The skirmishes come amidst rising dissent by citizens over President Faure's recent amendments to the constitution that would keep him in power indefinitely. Plumes of black smoke could be seen billowing above the streets of the country's capital, Lomé, as angry protesters burnt tires and furniture used for makeshift barricades. Shops and businesses also remained shut as protesters blocked the main roads in the capital city that came under heavy police protection as angry protesters hurled projectiles at law enforcement officers. Further, citizens have called for President to step down from his resignation.
All we want is for Faure Gnassingbé to step down. We'll keep protesting even after the 3 days until he finally leaves power.
The protests have been called by a coalition of political groups called Hands Off My Constitution that called for unprecedented peaceful demonstrations and release of political prisoners as well. In fact, following the government's crackdown on protests earlier this month, Faure has ruled the West African nation since 2005, following the death of his father in May this year. He was sworn in as a president of the Council of Ministers, making him eligible to be re-elected by the parliament indefinitely with no official term limits. Opposition parties have called the latest decision as a constitutional coup. And for more on this, our correspondent Louisa has sent us this ground report. Listen into this.
Clashes erupted Thursday between protesters and security forces in Togo. Like their counterparts in Kenya, hundreds of Togolese took to the streets demanding the resignation of President Faure Gnassingbé, whose family has ruled for nearly 6 decades. The protests, sparked by controversial constitutional changes that could extend Gnassimbé's group on power, saw demonstrators burning tires and setting up barricades. Police responded with tear gas, arresting many people in the opposition stronghold of Bay. Civil society groups and social media influencers had called for a 3-day protest from 26 to 28 June, highlighting various demands that must be met. Despite intimidation by militiamen and soldiers, the mobilization continues in Lomé. With tensions rising and more protests planned, Togo's political future hangs in the balance. From Lagos, Nigeria, Louisa Olani, WION World is One.